Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a book review for you guys and I'm going to be reviewing Beach Read by Emily Henry. So if you guys want to know more about this book, then keep on watching. So I just want to say, if the audio sounds different from all my other videos, it's because I don't have my mic on because I don't know if it broke or something. It's just not working, so I had to remake this video. Beach Read, I bought it last year when I think 2 months after it came out, and I never got to read it, and I finally read it this month, and let me tell you, it's so chef's kiss, baby. It is about two characters named January and Augustus. They are both authors. January is a romance slash fiction author, and Augustus is a fiction author. January goes to this place called the Beach Shore, which is where her father grew up, and during this time she's going through an very emotional and difficult situation because her father just passed away. So she goes to this beach house that he owned, that she did not know that he owned, because when he passed away she found out some things that she did not know about. Because of those lies that came out, she stopped believing in love because she believed that her parents were madly in love, the exact example of what love should be. For her, it was so easy to write romance because it was always shown to her, and she was never shown like anything that was heartbreaking or anything that was too serious where it couldn't be love. And so when she finds out the truth about some things, her whole world changes and it collides, and like it comes crashing down. She no longer could write any romance stories. Like, she is in a funk. Like, she just doesn't have any inspiration to do it because she keeps questioning herself about, like, is love actually true? Like, are happily ever afters, you know, for everyone? And Augustus is also going through a hard situation. I'm not going to give you the exact thing that he is going through because it is actually something that you get surprised in during the book because it's not something you expect. So when she gets to the beach house, she finds out that Augustus is actually her neighbor, and Augustus turns out to be an old college crush that she used to have. They used to have a lot of writing classes together, so that's how they knew each other, and they would grade each other's papers, and like they were like the best writers in that class. And she always thought that he was more of a competition and that he hated her, but in reality he felt that she was an equal and like one of the best writers there. So he kind of didn't actually hate her, but she thought he did. Nothing ever really happened during their college days. Years later, when she comes to this beach house, she finds out that he is the neighbor. They kind of form a friendship because there's a bookstore where she is currently living at, and that bookstore happens to be owned by Augustus' aunt. She kind of collides into him, not realizing that he's also her neighbor, and they form a friendship. And since they both are in a funk and they can't really write their genre of story, well, January decides to make a bet. Augustus write a romance story because she believes that Augustus doesn't like romance stories, that he is very like into his fiction and that love isn't real and all this stuff. So she makes him a bet into having him write a romance story and her write a literary fiction story, and whoever publishes their book first wins. I don't remember what they win. I think they just get bragging rights or something, but she is going through hard stuff, so she kind of needs to write because she is becoming broke by the minute. She has no more money, so she's trying to sell everything that's in that house so she could have money to survive. And her agent keeps, you know, messaging her and calling her, letting her know if she is going to be writing, that she needs to send something over to the publishing place, and she has nothing written. So this bet motivates her to write something she's never written before. All her feelings come out through that story that she writes. It's so good, and I wish honestly if that book was written I would probably read it because her emotions literally come out through that book. And Augustus, since he's never really written anything having to do with romance, it's kind of more interesting to see the adventures that they go through because they help each other out throughout this writing process. And on the weekends they have like little, I would consider them dates. They're dates where they go and do things that have to do with the genre of their books. So since she knows a lot about romance, she does little dates like going to like a fair or going to like the beach and stuff like that, so he could get motivation to writing and get ideas. And so he takes her currently to take to get interviews for a cult book that he was wanting to write that had nothing to do with this bet, but he already had those set up. So he takes her along and they form a friendship that eventually develops into a romance. Since they're both going through hard times, they actually end up helping each other a lot and more than they think, and see different perspectives, and they learn a lot about each other. And I think it's so cute, and I love their friendship because I want to say that it is a second chance trope, even though the first time they never actually pursued any like romance relationship, any sexual relationship, like nothing, like, but they got to see each other again a second time like years later. So I feel like that's considered a second chance trope. It's like a second chance trope slash enemies to lovers, even though he never thought of her as an enemy, it was only her thinking of him as an enemy. The way their friendship develops is amazing, and I love their friendship. I love how like easily they connect and they could relate to each other, even though their situations are completely different, but they both learn different perspectives of how each one reacts to different situations. So I just love it. I feel like the characters are very well developed and they're not boring. Like, for once in a romance book, they're not boring. Like, they're not children, you know, they're obviously adults. So their way of thinking is completely different than what you would read in a young adult romance, obviously. I love the way she reacts to the truth that comes out, because for her it was like a slap in the face, because her whole life, like, her parents were everything to her, and like she's never been without them. So when her father passes away, like, all this comes to her thinking like she's never was able to do anything in life because of what was going on in her parents' life, and she had to stay back home, and so she was never able to do all this stuff that she's always wanted to do. So the way she copes with that and the way she like tries to understand why her parents did the things that they would do is very well portrayed, I feel like, in the story. Like, it's very well detailed, and like it's enough information to know, instead of it like not really showing, because you know how there's some books that you can't really like tell what they're thinking. Well, no, you can tell everything that she's thinking. And the things that Augustus goes through and the things that come out from his childhood are very interesting. Although I would like to know more about his childhood life and what he went through, I think it was still enough detail to know about him and his character, and the reason why he doesn't think love is love, and well, why he thinks romance is like not fake, but like it's not reality to him. This story was really good, and I really recommend it. If you guys have time to read this book, check it out. You will not regret it. The characters are very funny, and the way that they connect, oh, like I said, their friendship is so like, I want that friendship so badly. Like, it's like they instantly like connected. Even if she thought of him as an enemy from the beginning, like they instantly connected. Like, they just know how to be friends, if that makes sense. It's like they're those characters that, well, they're those kind of people that feel like you had a friendship for a very long time, but in reality you just met them. It's like that kind of situation. That's why I really like them together, because they first started off as friends, and later it like literally took the whole summer, I would say, for them to form an actual real romance relationship. I love the way it all flowed together, because it didn't skip or jump, and it wasn't any like, it wasn't too soon of them falling in love with each other, and it wasn't too late of them to fall in love with each other. So it was like the perfect like book. And I don't say this about a lot of books, because I love romance stories, but I sometimes like to read real quick romance stories where it's like instant love, so they instantly fall in love and like, okay, I'm done with the book, there, finish. Like this one, it's not instant love, but I don't know how to explain it, but this book is good. I highly recommend it. Okay. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down below. If you guys read this book, let me know what you guys thought about it, because it is amazing. I love it. I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, because there's just some detail that I wish I knew more of, like certain people, like certain characters I wanted to know more of, and like their perspective of things, but obviously like that doesn't matter. So don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.